The following Dungeons & Dragons actual play podcast is based on real events from the history of American crime. Some of this imagery might be upsetting. Listener discretion is advised.
Infinite power, infinite power, infinite power, infinite power, infinite power. Infinite power.
And then reappeared. Which, if you think about it, is kind of like the lame, like, I'm pretending to walk down the stairs, like, behind a couch thing, and then he came back up.
And, alright, so,
But I think if you want to say that he heard, 80% of it. And right there, and I mean, he did hear Aelos say, like, because you were all right by the door.
Yeah.
So.
Because what I'm trying to establish is character-wise going forward is now he knows that Aelos isn't on the up and up, and now he's pissed about that. So that trumps everything else.
Mm-hmm.
So, Percy gets the nudge, and he's just like, it's kind of, it's a little invasive, and he's Percy's still trying to give it hang on to his new job duties. Since, he's just a lost provision private investigator, bard, and he's dealing with police, and he doesn't want to get arrested again. So he just kind of takes...
A lot of layers.
A lot of layers, yes. This is what we do. We're serious here on Shake Check. Gotta keep it all in line. So...
Keep it on line. Yep.
So, he gets a nudge, and he just goes, and very just controlled, he says, I don't remember any skeletons, but I'm sure that our friend Aelos here can probably tell you everything you need to know. And then just very angrily and through his teeth, he just goes, "Praise be." Oh, Sarah, I am a junior man of the cloth. I have had 12 minutes of training.
12 minutes of training.
Is this a out of conversation or in conversation reference, Crack?
This is, I think, both.
Do I know what that means? Or is this, I have no idea what's happening.
Yeah, you wouldn't know because you haven't met Aelos' new running buddy yet. So as far as it seems to Solar, Aelos seems to have found religion. And he would have some kind of holy symbol. He won't recognize what it is, maybe, but he's got some kind of holy symbol on his person.
Okay.
Like one of those big gaudy crucifixes around his neck.
Cool. Alright, I look at Aelos. I look over the situation. I read it off going, I look over and go, alright, I'm going to come back here later. And I have a sneaking suspicion that this story isn't going to hold up. And we're going to have a chat with your boss. And I look over at Aelos and go, alright, tell me about what happened. Tell me the other situation we need to go solve. And I go over, I grab my paper. I drop the change I need for whatever coffee because I'm not going to be bribed by this crime person. Drop the payment money on the table, and I walk out with my CI.
So,
and then the boss profession can't yell at me because I just paid for my food.
So that paper has hidden messages.
I look at you with a level of like, yeah, no, really, sure.
Yeah, but I can't sit down and read them because that would violate the code of the cloth. Yeah, that's it. But anywho, somebody wants me to do something that is probably not good. But if I don't do it, they're gonna maybe murder me. So I could use some help.
What did you do? So I sit there and I think about it, and I look over and I flip over the paper, and DM, how much thieves can't do I know based on my time dealing with this world?
That's a good.
Is it an inside gag that everybody knows about it? Is it because the city's so corrupted it's not secret?
No. So even in a place as corrupt as this, there's still stuff that people are keeping secret. So, you would know, like, intro to thieves can't. You've passed. But the department hasn't been exactly doing a great job of keeping you guys up to date on ways that the language has shifted.
Sure.
So I guess the best description I can give you is that we know that, like, taking Spanish in college is different from the Spanish that you would speak in country, right?
Got it. I got
that you might
language.
Yeah, you pick up a word or two here or there. If you have a lot of time to translate, then maybe you could figure it out.
I roughly gesture towards the paper and try to get you to tell me what's going on here.
So they kind of want me to break into where they store the phylacteries and destroy a couple. No big, right?
They want you to commit some breaking and enterings and destruction of property and other law-breaking activities?
So out of character, would I know the importance of the phylacteries
yes.
and that sort of thing?
Yeah, you both would. So the way that we're gonna try to make magic seem dangerous in this world, we're stealing ideas from two different games. Okay, so if you've ever played Dragon Age before, the way that they handle magic users in that setting is that every mage is required to register.
Sure.
And they have this phylactery that is basically just a blood vial, or a vial of their blood. That makes more sense. Words. And that the Holy Order there can use to keep track of them. So I wanted to just kind of borrow that idea for us. And then the other thing that I think would make a lot of sense for Backfire to have would be the possession of the phylactery, or registering, allows those mages to tap into and they wouldn't understand how this happens. They don't understand the kind of the causal process here. But basically, if you're not registered and you cast a spell, something dies or something is hurt. So unregistered mages, whatever kind of mana pool they're drawing from or whatever, is drawn from some other living thing's life force. If they're registered, then that doesn't happen. Does that make sense?
Yep.
So
did the instructions in the code, did it tell me who I need to destroy?
No.
Do they want me to destroy all of them, or to be determined?
They want you to break into this. It's a building owned by a guy named Harold Worthington. Worthington is a private contractor who has agreed to act as kind of or provide a storage facility for these phylacteries throughout the city. They're not all kept in one place. So the instructions for Aelos did give a specific address, and said smash as many as possible.
Okay.
So I think Aelos is smart enough to know that they probably means smash everything, number one, and number two, they probably do just want one or two specifically destroyed, but they wouldn't give him that. Right.
So they want me to destroy some phylacteries. No big, right? That's not a big deal. Not a hefty fine like that.
I'm assuming we've had attempts at this. People have tried politically or criminally to take over or undo this system. So there has to have been precedent for what happens when people try to do this.
Yeah. So
just generic crime.
Yeah. There'd be all kinds of reasons why people wouldn't want to register, right? Mm-hmm. Some people would think about it in terms of they don't want to be tracked. They would rather be off the grid. Some people think that it's that they're like nobody actually really is hurt by magic, and then this is just a government conspiracy to keep track of all magic users. But Backfire being what it is, there's definitely a subset of magic users who don't want to do it because they either like the idea of inflicting punishment on other people when they use magic, or that they want to try to understand why that happens. You know what I mean? And kind of, I guess, marry like sorcery with alchemy, and try to understand like why is it that casting a spell, even something like a healing spell or like even the most basic thing, why would that cause something else to suffer?
Other question, does that also function for like racial trait spells?
So stuff like dark vision?
No, what I'm talking about is as an elf and a high elf, I'm able to cast a cantrip as being an elf. Does the phylactery issue apply there, or since it's inherent in my elfness, is that exempt?
That's a good question.
I'm also curious on who got away with designing a magic system that punishes people with magic. Like how you had to bend the laws of magic to make that do it.
So, to Dan's question, I can completely see this being a place that would track elves, right? That would track any race that has an inherent magical ability. I think that's just how awful this place is.
So just like, elf is born, phylactery created, you're registered, moving on.
I knew that tonight's game was going to be dark, and I did not anticipate... I did not anticipate this level of darkness, but it totally would happen there. But there would be people, and I'm stammering because I'm trying to think of like what a real life equivalent of this would be that doesn't involve like Nazis or the Civil War South, and I'm having a very difficult time coming up with one right now. I think it would be really the equivalent of like, I think people with any kind of inherent magical ability would be tracked from birth, but there would be those families that would be, there would be those families that would have paid the right people to kind of lose that, right? Okay. Oh, and I wonder if we could come up with a thing where there's like, I have an idea. I just had a good idea, but I can't say what it is right now.
I have an idea.
Me too.
I know, and I have a feeling that we have the same idea.
Yep.
So there's that. As far as like how this was designed, you wouldn't know. There's a lot about the history of this place that nobody really knows. There are libraries, but the libraries are more like fiction and poetry and you know, plays and stuff like that. There's not like a thriving public history or living public knowledge about the city. It just kind of, this is how it's been, this is how you do things, that's how it goes.
Okay, I proceed to who controls the fulcrum? Is it state-run? Is it a family? Is it what's the police's connection? Is it police-controlled? Is it police know about it, but it's private security? Give me the logistics my brain starts going through, hearing that my CI is being told to break into this place.
Yeah, so part of the crushing despair of Backfire is that it's got an overwhelming amount of bureaucracy. So this is definitely something that has its own, probably state-run security. And so these would be guys who would be responsible not only for security of the buildings, but also, I think they would have to be like trackers of some sort, right? There's like a... I'm going to have to write a story about this tomorrow. Like, this is an idea that we have to flesh out some.
Do they have Blade Runners?
They might. There could be Blade Runners here. But, like, even darker. This is one of the more fucked up ideas that I've ever had for something. But it works for the setting. This
Sure.
works. This is something that would happen here.
I mean, it just sounds like the Ministry of Magic in Book 5 when it goes evil.
Mm-hmm.
Insert. So I would then proceed to... I don't even know who I can call at this point to get Aelos out of the situation. Like, I can't just let you walk in.
Keep in
And
mind,
do
they
this.
did say they'd kill me if I didn't do it.
Who's they?
I don't know. But they sound pretty terrible.
Who did you... I'm trying to figure out like who you made mad that would have like done that, but I guess it doesn't matter.
I mean, there was Paul the banker, but
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
We haven't...
he seemed too dumb to know thieves can't.
Is there a way in which we can make it look like this has been done? Can we stage the crime?
Are you asking me?
I'm asking both the DM as a suggestion idea.
Okay.
I'm asking my CI going, we can't let this happen as an actual thing. When I'm talking out loud ideas, can we make this look like it happened for a dear person to leave you alone?
Maybe?
Who would we need to talk to? Who's a person that we would need to use?
Percy Griggs? He's done magic. Zafira? Zafira's done a lot of magic. Maybe she would know?
Percy Grits is a private investigator.
My new best friend, Nim, he's super smart. He doesn't get flustered like I do. He's also my spiritual advisor and coach.
Oh, Carlos in the future. Future Carlos. Your ears are burning right now, brother. I'm sorry. But...
This is where we are.
Yep.
This is what's happened.
This is what's happened.
Okay. I proceed to... we need to...
I mean, this is all I can do with magic, and I use minor illusion to make like a puff of smoke.
Okay.
Okay. Yep, that's not going to do what we need to do here. All right. Okay, so the people you just named off are all people that are either in the bakery or going to be in the bakery later.
Yeah.
And then
Yep.
the brother, and then this like spiritual leader that he has now.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm at a loss of what my situation needs to be here. I need my Solar like starts muttering more ideas as we're walking around and thinking about how to deal with the situation, and continues to mutter for a bit about like possible decision trees of how to solve this problem. Trying to figure out who he's got between his police contacts and his criminal contacts to help shed light on the situation. Like, who is it trying to destroy this situation is where my mind's going.
Okay.
I mean, we could just go smash him because, I mean, is it really that bad?
I still am an officer of Backfire. I still have to uphold the law, and part of the law was this program.
Yeah, but...
So while this is happening...
Corrupt.
Percy Grits, you see a very visibly flustered Aelos, like, pleading with Solar, and Solar kind of, like, pacing back and forth outside. Are you going to go out there, or are you just going to watch this play out?
Yeah, Percy's just gonna, Percy's just, watching.
Okay.
And, he's watching through the window pane at the door, and he's, he's trying not to let the murder face show, because he's still angry. And then he just takes a breath and he just goes outside.
Okay.
And he stands off far enough so that if they need to see him, they can see him, but he's not intruding on the conversation.
Okay. Aelos, you see Percy Grits come out of the bakery.
Hey, Percy! what do you know about phylacteries?
And Percy just kind of like makes a face like, what the hell? And he just says, is that a pill?
Maybe. I don't know a lot about it myself. I know there's one out there that I think is registered to me.
And Percy just kind of like, he's still just like, but, and he just says, look, I haven't been this angry in my entire life.
Oh, no.
Until today.
Oh, no.
Why is that, buddy?
And he just goes, because you're a liar. And I'm tired. And I have this...
How?
And
A liar? What have I lied about?
And he just goes... And Percy just goes, you know what, praise be. And he just starts, like, cursing. And then he just stops. He goes, look, I don't know why I have this job. But if you need help, I'll help. But here's the thing. And he just looks at Solar, and he just goes, I think there's some bad stuff going on. And I can't get arrested again. So, if you need help, can I get deputized?
Ooh, can I be deputized too?
And Percy just shoots him a look.
Solar has this issue, so he's got a CI in front of him who, up until this point, he's always believed the CI's positions because he's had no reason to lie to me about things.
Yep.
He's given me prior casework. He's given me a new case that's currently tied to a previous case I have open I needed to deal with.
Mm-hmm.
He's tied to a current case that's open in front of me about dinosaurs. And he's going to be murdered. And I'm going to lose him to some shady underground element where I still need him to solve problems. And I think the only way to protect him at this point is probably to deputize my CI to keep him alive, because killing an officer is 10 times worse than killing a CI. And if I make the private investigator a CI, and he keeps doing the things he's not supposed to do, I'm not a CI. If I also make him a deputy, there's I get to be his boss this way. All right, I make them both deputies.
Okay. All right. You just so happen have a couple of, like when cops will go to an elementary school, and like they might give out certificates or like the plastic badges, right? You have a couple of those plastic badges somewhere on you.
Sure.
And you give one to Percy and you give one to Aelos, I guess, to symbolically deputize them. So now you have, I think, what in law enforcement terms is a posse.
Sure.
Now that I'm all official, I should let you know I kind of owe my boss.
Aelos has turned into like a talking head confessional on an MTV reality show. Like he can't stop snitching on himself.
Yep.
And did out of character, I can't remember. Did I light the pawn shop on fire? Or did I try to?
I think you.
I don't know.
I think you.
I know I got kicked out of the poker game.
Yeah, you got kicked out of I forgot about the backroom poker game. Yes, you got kicked out of that. I think for cheating, right? She accused you of cheating, and I don't think you tried to set the place on fire. Did you try to set the place on fire?
I think I might have tried to convince Paul to use his godly powers to set the place on fire.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, and we didn't say where Paul was, so we'll have to say that Paul is off with Nim, undoubtedly being exploited somehow, some way. Yeah, I don't think that Aelos would have been able to set it on fire but I think he would, since he confessed to like there being skeletons when there weren't any skeletons, him having an over exaggerated memory of events that he was involved in, where it's always way worse than it actually was, might might actually be funny. And then when Carlos comes back, then you have this like,
He's gonna be so pissed.
He's gonna be so mad. He's gonna be so mad. He's gonna be so mad at us, and not just me. He's gonna be mad at you too, Dan.
Well, you know.
He's gonna be so mad. The title for one of these, because we're coming up on an hour and a half of recording, and Mark cuts them at like half an hour. Like, the next episode is Carlos is so mad now.
Thank you, Carlos.
So all of that is to say that I don't think that Aelos tried to set it on fire, but if he remembers himself trying to set it on fire, then didn't he? Isn't that as good enough? Isn't that good enough?
Mate.
Do we want to pause it there and like leave it the camera lens being that the scene ends with my two deputized new posse members just telling me all the things they've done now that they can't get arrested for it?
And
how much more recording you want?
I imagine that Curb Your Enthusiasm music just like playing in the background of this.
It's up to you guys. I can keep going. If you want to stop, we can stop.
I'm curious on how much you want us to stop before we need to do more world building on things that you want to put together before we start making it up.
Oh no, I'm fine with making it up.
Okay.
Yeah. Hi again, everybody. This is Dr. Andy Wilczak. I wanted to say thanks again for taking time to listen to the show. We really appreciate it. The reason why I wanted to make Strength Check into an actual play D&D podcast, when there are so many other actual play shows out there that are probably way better than anything that I could do, is I want to draw your attention to a project that I'm a part of here in northeastern Pennsylvania. We're calling it Play for Progress, and the idea is to use D&D and eventually, hopefully, probably other tabletop games to help middle school and high school kids who are struggling with mental health problems or addiction issues, or who feel alienated or isolated in some way. This part of Pennsylvania has been hit really, really hard by the opioid crisis. This part of Pennsylvania has a very high alcoholism rate. And this part of Pennsylvania is diversifying very quickly, and there are those who have capitalized on that to try to create more conflict between people. So we have a lot of kids here who are alone and who are suffering, and suffering mightily. So what we're doing, and the point of this message now, is to just let you know that we are raising money to make Play for Progress a sustainable force for good in the northeastern Pennsylvania area. If you have even $5 to spare for us, you can go to GoFundMe.com/playforprogress with hyphens between the words, so play-for-progress. And anything that you can give us will go a long way towards making us sustainable. Thank you.